What up, what up, what up, what up? How's everybody doing today? Early edition of Puck U on this Tuesday, October 14th. It's 1 p.m. I'm Mike Burns. That guy over there is Les Victorie. I'm coming to you from sunny, beautiful, gorgeous Florida.
Whatever.
Les is in the great white frozen tundra. This is Ylose NHL Handicapping Show. We're going to be talking about some wagers. We got some likes. We got some leans. We got some best bets. And don't forget about the old DGen parlay at the end of the show. We got 4 games that we're going to highlight. Before we get to that, make sure that you guys like and subscribe. We come to you live. We're doing 3 days a week to start the season. We got Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Should be around 2 o'clock. This one we had to drop a little early because we got some shit going on here. But Les, how you doing today, brother?
It is cold up here. So every time you rub that in, that shit just makes me want to pack my shit and get the fuck out of Dodge, if you know what I mean. So, you know what?
There's always room down here in FLA, brother.
We're a little sleepy today. We crushed a big 12-pound turkey last night for Canadian Thanksgiving. Glad that's over. Now I don't have to see my family again for at least another 2 months. So that's good news. So that's a win there. Not a bad weekend though. A couple green days, Saturday, Sunday. We missed our 100-star yesterday with Kaprizov scoring instead of passing it. And you know what though? Like I watched that game. I watched every single shift of him.
I'm sure you did.
Every
10
shift.
minutes on a play, you're not missing a shift.
Like he just floats. And then he's got a good shot. Like he's got a good shot. He sees the ice pretty well, but he had some terrible turnovers. Like, oh my God. He's going to have to be better defensively if he expects to bring Minnesota past the first round for the first time in 10 years. And, you know, I just don't know if he has it in him.
Listen, he's that $17 million man, right? It's easy to demand perfection, you know, goal and assist, hat trick, you know, game in, game out. But I mean, you know, like these guys, he's delivered early in the season. You know, him and Boldy, both 7 points each. You know, they're looking hot. I mean, the question mark with him just always remains, you know, are you playing 82? Are you playing 62? How much of the season are we actually going to get out of this guy? You know, so see how it goes. But he is a special player, man. He is 100% a special player. Yeah. You cannot deny that.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to it. First game on the slate. We've got the Nashville Predators and the Toronto Maple Leafs. Leafs are laying 185, 6.5 over under. Both teams coming off back-to-backs. The Preds caught the 4-1 W last night in Ottawa. The Leafs.
2 nights ago.
The Leafs, or yesterday afternoon.
No, there was only one game yesterday.
What's today?
Today's Tuesday.
Yeah, I watched these shits yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Get the turkey off the brain, brother.
Oh, man. Get your shit
hella
together.
Afternoon hockey yesterday. Not bad working in the office and switching from game to game to game to game. So the Leafs, they dropped theirs last night against the Wings. Second loss in a row to the Wings. First one 6-3, last night 3-2. All right. So the Leafs walk into this one, you know, with the clear advantage offensively. You know, no one's going to sit here and say that Nashville's some offensive powerhouse, and they have not looked like it. We're going to see Caden Primo in the pipes, that turncoat from Montreal. He's now with the Leafs. He had 11 regular season appearances last year, 4.7 goals against, 8.36. I don't know what we're going to get out of Primo between the pipes, but I think we're going to see a hell of an amount of Leafs offense today. What are you gearing up for in this game? What do you see?
So if you're a Leaf fan, don't hit the don't hit the panic button just yet.
No, always hit the panic button if you're a Leafs fan. I love it. Always hit it, especially 3 games in. Hit that panic button.
I feel like they always have it close and the cover's open on it and their hand might be just resting on it, just casually just waiting to hit the panic button, and then something will happen and then they'll close the lid and then the next day it'll open back up. Nonetheless, though, tough loss for the Leafs yesterday. You know, whenever you outshoot an opponent like they did the Wings, you expect to come out with 2 points. You gave out what was it? a 45-second left goal that ended up being the game winner to Detroit. Kind of unfortunate, but Austin Matthews needs to get going.
You sure you're not a closet Leafs fan?
This looks like prime playoff Matthews right now.
Guy has 67 shots on goal in 3 games.
And Yarn Crow, I think, is leading the team in points. Who?
He's got 3 tucks.
Where's Willie? Where's Austin? Matthew Nyes is Matthew Nyes. He's doing his thing. He had a couple points yesterday. Old faithful. Matthews had 8 shots on net, but what's going on in Toronto land? Like their goaltending. Stolar's played okay. I don't know if Caden Primo is the answer. I'll tell you that. Like I didn't mind the kid in Montreal, being a Montreal fan, but he's still young and an immature goaltender, even though he's been in the league for 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah, but not a ton of starts.
Not a ton of starts. He hasn't played in a long time. So the fact that the Leafs are a minus 190 with Primo and net tonight, a little bit. You almost want to question it a little bit. And I almost feel like Vegas is confused with a lot of these games because you look at these money line games, Burnsies, and like all the lines suck for us. They like encourage you to not take these bets because every fucking game tonight is minus 165 or worse. And there's just not a lot of value there. So unless we're going to start laying major juice, which we don't like to do here, but I mean, at the end of the day, we also don't want to force bets either. So it's kind of forced me to take a different approach on some of these games over the last couple of weeks because it's like those lines just haven't settled into a consistent element where we can play. So the reality is Nashville hasn't won in Toronto since as far back as my stat line tells me is before 2019. So they don't play well in Toronto. Toronto's a tough place to play for some teams. Nashville is one of those teams with Primo in the net. If Toronto can muster up another 40 shots, this should be a pretty straightforward game for them. I highly doubt that Justus Noonan for a Nashville, the backup Tendy, is going to pull a Cam Talbot like he did yesterday for the Wings. But I mean, it should be a minus 1.5 for the Leafs. Like they should be winning this game, and with the
on that.
with the empty netter, plus 135. That's a nice plus money play. Toronto at home. But again, back-to-back night, Caden Primo in net, never played for the Leafs before. Sometimes you get lucky and you get a shutout from your backup goalie. It just happened the other day with Washington. So it is
kind of backup goalie.
Yeah, I mean he's not a backup goalie. He happens to be the number 2, but he's not. But you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. Every now and then a backup goalie will go out and play really well. So Leafs should win this one by 1.5 or more.
So I mean, to your point, by the 1.5 or more here, right? Like last season, the Nashville Predators. I mean, they were a complete fucking disaster, but especially on the road. Now, I know it goes season to season. And you can only trust trends for so long. But I know they got the 4-1 W yesterday against the Senators. But I watched that game. And I'll tell you right now, they did not earn that win. The Sens completely, especially in the second period, mopped the fucking ice with them. They were all over them. Nashville was just struggling. They looked old. They looked slow. And, I mean, the Sens, I think they'll have this kind of problem, all season long where they're going to have a high shot output. The tucks are going to come a little hard. They got talent. Not knocking the Sens too hard, right? I like their physicality. I like their speed. I like the way that they forecheck. Defense is a little sus, and that's what kind of blew in the game last night with Shabbat with a bad pinch. And then we had the 2 empty net goals at the end of it. And Alex mentioned that there's no Soros in between the pipes. He played his fucking balls off last night. He stole that game for Nashville. So now you turn to a Noonan. I don't know. I don't have very high hopes for Nashville this season. I don't think that's too much of a hot take, but
I mean, you know what though? I agree, but you got to look at their start compared to last year. I think how did they start out last year? They lost like the first 6 in a row or something. They're literally 2-0-1 right now. So I don't want to say that they fixed it because I don't think they have, but you got to give them some credit. The only thing too is that there's often very low scoring games with Toronto. So you might want to lean on the under a little bit, and especially until Nylander and Matthews get their shit figured out, because they're just not producing, and you're not, I don't care how good of a team you are, you're not going to win very many games scoring 2 to 3 goals in the NHL. It's just not the way it works anymore. And Toronto hasn't really found their stride yet. As far as that go, the power play has been terrible. So there's lots of concern there, but the under may be something to consider on this. It has cashed the last 7 out of 10 times when these two teams have met. And Nashville's over-under record on the season's 3 unders to 0 overs. So you put that all together, but then you got 2 backup goalies coming to play, and you don't know what you're going to get there. So tough game. It's tough when you got 2 backup goalies going in and a very juiced money line bet for Toronto.
So I just want to point out a comment over here from Dylan Stevens. So he's saying, Preds plus 1.5. Now I know the Leafs are juiced to the money line, laying at 185, right? The Preds plus 1.5 is minus 165. It's only an extra 20 cents for that. And then just like we saw yesterday with Nashville and Ottawa, I mean, that was really a 1-goal game with 2 empty netters. So just, just saying, just be careful.
How many times have we gotten fucking burned?
Oh, absolutely.
How many times? It's already happened this year. Fucking Nylander scored against Montreal with 14 seconds left for the second empty netter to fuck my total card. So you have to consider those things. Like, if this is a tight game, there's a good chance that there's an empty netter, that there's a last minute goal to force OT that could run the total up and over. So it's all things that need to be considered. And I think last year, it happened to us 5 or 6 times. Where
it'll happen another 5 or 6 this year. It's just, it is what it is, man. You pull the goalie, and now it's not like it was back in the day where it was like, oh, the coach is screaming at you, make sure you hit the red line.
Yeah, no.
They're just firing it from all ends of the ice.
Well, that's what the math says to do. And really, it actually worked in our favor yesterday. The VIP card had the over on the Philly-Florida game. And that was a 2-1 game going into the third. And I'm like, oh, God, I don't know. I'm starting to sweat this one a little bit. Got tied up. Philly scored, 2 empty netters, over. We did get there. So, that's the thing with these over-under bets is especially when you take the over, you're not going to probably win in the first 40 minutes, right? It takes a full 60 minutes to win these bets, and a full 60 minutes to sometimes lose them, but sometimes you bust up your under card in the first period, depending on the game. So interesting spot nonetheless. The Leafs, I'm interested to see how this game pans out, just because there's a lot of X factors in this game that don't typically happen. No Joseph Wool for the Leafs. He's MIA again. A Caden Primo guy with us, plus 4 goals against average going against another backup. I'm interested to see how this is going to play out.
Could be a goofy game. All right, next game we got on the card here. We got the Oilers at MSG. Oilers laying minus 140. I think that might have moved since the last time I made these live, minus 135. 5.5, the over-under here. So Oilers come in, splitting their first 2 games. They're 1-0-1. Had a shootout loss against the Flames on opening night. Beat up the Knuckleheads a little bit, 3-1. You don't hear this a lot when you talk about the Oilers, but the game against the Canucks was a defensive gem. Held the Canucks to only 15 shots. Only asked Calvin Pickard to make 14 saves. Tonight we turn the focus to Mike Skinner, or to Jeff Skinner. No, the other Skinner, Stu Skinner. Too
many fucking Skinners in this league.
Too many goddamn Skinners. So So one thing I want to point out before we dive into, both of these teams, right? We all knew who Connor McJesus is. We all know that Connor McJesus does heavy things, right? He's got heavy stats, 15 games against the Rangers. He's got 9 goals, got 14 assists, got 23 points. And we all remember that 1-on-5 move that he made against the Rangers, cutting back into the zone. So could be a big game for McJesus tonight. What do you like?
I don't know if you guys have seen it, but I got 2 free picks for this game. I have posted them on the Instagram, but since you took time out of your day, I'm just going to give them to you right here. I have Edmonton on the money line for a couple reasons. One, I don't trust New York. I just slipped my mind. Who's hurt right now for him?
Trocheck.
That's it. Yeah, I had him written down here. Oh, there he is. Yep. And Susie is hurt.
He's on IR.
He's gonna be out for a bit. Where is the offense coming from on this New York team? Trocheck's hurt. Lafreniere is that's your guy? I mean, I don't know. Like I don't see New York scoring a lot of goals. I almost want to think that like New York could be like the Boston Bruins of last year as far as not being able to score. They got Shesterkin in goal, which thank God, because it's if it wasn't for him, the Rangers could be 0-4, really, because he put up unbelievable numbers against Buffalo. Poor Buffalo, holy man. 37 saves, and
I'm a Devils fan and I'm always trolling the Rangers, but at this point right now, with the Devils playing 3 games, they have just as many goals scored at home as the Rangers do, and they have yet to play a home game.
Yeah, and the Rangers are not scoring at home. They've been shut out. They've been shut out.
Are we taking the under a half a goal for the Rangers team total tonight?
Probably going to pay pretty good. But you're really putting Stuart Skinner. I mean, if he stops the puck like he handles the puck, then you're big fucking shit. So, you're getting a good price taking Edmonton on the money line at -140. Yesterday it was -130 when I recorded the free pick, and the money is coming in on Edmonton on the money line. I also gave out McDavid anytime goal. He has great numbers against the Rangers, and he even said at the start of the year this year, he's like, I need to shoot more. I need to maybe, and not to paraphrase it, I need to be less cute and just get it done.
That's a dangerous statement for this league and goalies all around the world.
Yeah.
I mean, how many assists that, there was overreactions all last year. Connor McDavid's broken. He only had 4 assists and no goals. He was an Apple machine.
So coming back to that, some things are never going to change, so you might want to even look at McDavid to have over 1.5 points, because we're only going to see that for every game this year. So if you're even thinking about playing a McDavid prop, over 1.5 points could be almost an automatic bet every year on every game. You could probably play that. If you played that for the full 82 games, I'd be curious to see how you shook out at the end of it. With that being said, however, there's still some value taking McDavid. Even his assist line is over 1.5. Like it's you almost can't even play him unless you're doing a same game parlay with alternate lines. But Stuart Skinner, 22.5 saves is his line. Shesterkin is 27. That seems a little bit high for an Edmonton team on the road. They definitely don't get as many shots on net on the road as they do at home. But at the same time, they can put up 35, 40 shots on you. But eventually you like to think that New York is going to continue improving their defense, which they have. They're defending well. Every game that they play, they're giving up less and less shots. But you're still not scoring. So until that comes, I think the 26.5 for Shesterkin's too high. I think that's a big number, because you got to think of it. If they get 30 shots and Edmonton scores 4 on it, you still lose at 30 shots. So right now you're actually a little bit into the plus money at under 26.5. The money's coming in at the over, but I think it might be too high, Burnsy. I like the under for Shesterkin tonight.
Now, I'm not trying to compare the Capitals offense to the Oilers offense, but Rangers only let them 1 goal. Jonathan Quick saved 20 of 21. So, I know I'm not trying to say the Caps are the Oilers here, right, by any stretch, but the Rangers do know how to play defense. And I know it's borderline impossible to play against Big Jesus, but, there's still a lot of players on that team that got burned by him and got posterized. So they're coming in you have to come in with a big, heavy, defensive mind and trying to shut down Connor.
And really, the Rangers have only given up 40 shots in their last 2 games. Like, they're only averaging 20 shots. So this line is super juiced at 27. So I absolutely, the more and more I look at this, the more and more I like it, taking Igor under the shots. And if it doesn't hit, well, then it doesn't hit. But, all signs are showing that the Rangers are doing a good job of defending. And their puck time possession is increased too. So not only they're defending better, but they're actually managing the puck better. The PK's been good.
Edmonton's not fully healthy either.
No, they aren't. So this might be a not a bad look here. There, no Wallman, no Jan Mark still. Last year Edmonton was very slow to get up and going. So take that with a grain of salt, but hey, our job is to provide an edge, and our edges are based off of analytics and statistics. And this is what this show is all about. So take it or leave it.
Yeah. The 3 hours of work that go into just this show, not even counting the card that you have to put together. I mean, we do the work so you don't have to. So you better hit that goddamn like button. You better be subscribed with notifications on. Pay it back to us, motherfuckers. All right, next game up. We got the Lightning and we got the Capitals. Now, let me ask you a question here, Mr. Victory. Are you ready for Overreaction Tuesday?
Oh, God. What contraption did you...
Are fucking cooked. They're done. They're over. Folded. 0-2 to start the season. Just barely eked one out by the shitbag Bruins.
They were winning 4-1.
This is right, and they almost blew it. This is momentum versus desperation. Lightning are in trouble right now. All right, let's talk about the Caps while you pick your jaw up off the floor there. Caps have won 2 of their 3 opening games here, carrying a 2-game winning streak into this. We just talked about the Caps winning 1-0 on the road against the Rangers. Charlie Lindgren posted the shutty, 35 saves to secure the W. Logan Thompson's got a 93% save percentage. Tonight we got Thompson. Tonight we got Vasilevsky. Another overreaction of the year. Alexander Ovechkin's not going to score a goal this year. 3 games in. Dude doesn't even have a goal? Washed.
That's the way he started last year.
Washed.
That's done. The way he started last year. No bullshit. Exact. He had 3 assists and he was like +8 or something. Identical stat to last year.
Yarn Pro on the Leafs are going to have more goals than Ovechkin this year.
Ooh.
All right, bring us back to earth here. I have my fun.
Well, so here's the thing. I'll put it this way. Yes, I'm surprised Tampa started with dropping 2 games at home. Okay. But this is still a pretty good team. Like, you got a lot of good players on this team between Cirelli, Gensel, Kucherov, Victor Hedman, Vasilevsky. He hasn't played great by any stretch. But, I know Dubois is still hurt, and he was a big part of that Washington success last year. But Vasilevsky needs to be better. Like, he hasn't had a save percentage even close to 850 yet this year. So
it's a weird narrative with him, right? Because like everybody knows like his skill set, his pedigree is, we know about all the cups and Conn Smythe's MVPs, Vezinas, whatever the fuck. I mean, how old is the guy now?
But he also had back surgery.
No,
and
100%. That's my point, right? Like,
he was never the same.
I'm not saying that I'm playing, right? But like, there is a world that Vasilevsky is just mid. He's not the guy that he was. I mean, we saw what Florida, did through to Tampa in the playoffs last year. And I was on Tampa to win that round. Like hot take Burns. But I don't know, man. I mean, he's not getting any younger.
He's only 31. Like that's not that old for a goalie.
Dinosaur age, dude.
No. Look at Bobrovsky. He sucked till he was like 30. But there is some things to be concerned about being a Tampa Bay fan. If you're a Tampa Bay fan, I'm not a Tampa Bay fan. One is the ability to get pucks to the net. Their shot total sucks right now. They're only averaging about 19 to 22 shots a game, which typically doesn't get it done. They're giving up over 30 every single game. And you know what? There's your proof right there that
13 goals against in 3 games is an ugly stat line.
Especially when you're playing the Devils and the Bruins.
Oh.
So, I mean, not the Devils, but yeah, all right, whatever. The Devils, but the Devils typically don't score a ton of goals either, though. Like they usually have pretty low shot totals and find a way to squeak out 3-1, 4-3 kind of wins. But when you're only getting 17 to 22 shots a game there, that makes life very difficult because you got to assume that not all those shots are high scoring chances because they aren't. They're shots from the outside, no plays, you get it on net and, hopefully you catch something. But the power play hasn't been good, which is surprising given, that fact. I mean, they got 2 against Ottawa in the season opener, but they haven't scored a goal since. And they're still not getting a lot of opportunities. The goaltending has been shady. Is this the end of the Vasilevsky era for Tampa? I don't know. I think if they have a 3-and-out season like they did basically last year, they might want to look at changing things up between the pipes.
Could be a lottery pick this year, man.
I don't think so. In my imaginary playoff poll, I have them in the top 3 in the East. So I think they get it figured out. It's just a matter of when. Kucherov needs to get going. I feel like I haven't really heard much from him. Not that I follow every Tampa Bay game, but when you're, I think the sickest part is you're still scoring enough goals, even with that little of shots.
Yeah.
So if they start actually, having more offensive time with the puck and can get the power play going, they're going to score a lot more. Like they scored 4 yesterday, 3 against the Devils and 4 against Ottawa, all in losses with the exception of yesterday. So you're still getting 3 or 4 goals a game. Now, Washington doesn't typically give up a ton of opportunities when they're at home. They're the team that keeps their opponent to 22, 23 shots. So this could be a struggle for Tampa Bay today. If I had to pick one or the other, I'm probably picking the Caps at home until Tampa Bay figures it out.
Listen, do you expect them to figure it out on a back-to-back with
probably
travel
not
from Boston to Washington?
Well, back-to-back.
I'm just saying, it's a bit of a tough ask.
A huge tough ask, especially when you played against a Boston backup goalie. Korpisalo played for Boston last night. If that would have been Swayman, that could have been a very different look to that game, right? Because they went up 4-1 and then almost had it slip away. Which Boston is capable, is one of those teams that can squeak out a comeback, if they really need to. It didn't work out last time, but I got to be looking at Washington at home, and it almost seems silly not to play it.
Listen, I mean, it just seems that a team that right now, right, and I have all the confidence in the world that John Cooper and them are going to figure it out, right? They're going to go on a run. They're going to bust off 10 in a row and, and all that shit, right? But they've been giving up goals in bunches, right? Gave up 3 last night in the third to the Bruins. Gave up 3 in the first to the Devils. Like it's not just like, and I mean, when they lost to Ottawa, it was one in the first, two in the second, two in the third. That was just the game that just got fucking worked in. I mean, it's just a team that is putting up low shot totals. Why? Because they don't have the puck. Because the other team's controlling the possession. Like this is not a team that's afraid to shoot. This is a high offensive team. But if you don't have the puck, then what good is your fucking offense? So their defense, and now you're coming in after playing yesterday. Could be a slow start. Maybe Cap's first goal.
You know what? Yeah, I like it, but the other thing is Tampa needs to stay out of the box. They've had 4 penalties or more in every single game this year so far. Luckily, their PK has done a good job. They've only given up 1 power play goal out of 13 attempts. So they're 12 for 13 on the PK, which is good. But if you're killing penalties, you're not scoring goals. With the odd exception of Sorelli picking off a pass and going down and scoring. But you don't count on those. Those are what I call bonus goals because you're just trying to get out of that 2 minutes without giving up a goal. With that being said, the more penalties you take, you're basically giving away. So last game, for example, they had 5 2-minute penalties. That's 10 minutes. You gave up half a period just killing penalties over the course of a game, right? So that needs to get improved on because eventually you're going to start giving up power play goals, and especially when your goalie is supposed to be your best penalty killer. He hasn't been. I mean, he has been because the team has been a good job, but he hasn't been exceptional by any stretch on both sides. So the over is definitely something to consider here. But given the fact that it's a back-to-back spot and Vasilevsky is playing in net, Washington doesn't generate a ton of shots. I'm kind of leaning towards the under on this one.
All right, moving on to our last game here. We got the Minnesota Wild coming in against the Dallas Stars. Stars are off to a perfect start, 2-0, including a thrilling shootout victory over the Avs the other night. This is going to be Dallas's home opener here. They're well-rested, playing at home. They're going to come in. Minnesota played yesterday, travel down to Dallas. Dallas has started the season with their offensive firepower, averaging 4.5 goals per game, right? 9 in total. Mikko Rantanen, Thomas Harley lead the team with 4 points each. Now, one knock on Dallas is although they are 2-0 and they've been scoring a lot of goals, they've been letting a lot of goals in. They're averaging 4 goals against per game. So they may need a little bit more time to find that defensive footing here. Ottinger in net tonight for Dallas. What do you like about Big D?
I think this is a trap spot because Minnesota played their backup goalie last night. I obviously watched that game, and their power play is unbelievable right now. They're just absolutely phenomenal on the peeper, and Dallas is pretty good at taking penalties too. They average about 4 or 5 penalties a game, and Minnesota's just been lights out on the power play. So if Dallas gets in box trouble, I think Minnesota's going to make them pay. But I also feel like home openers are trap spots for these teams. For whatever reason, I'd have to look it up. I had it before, but on how many home openers you lose at home for whatever reason. It's just a thing. And the fact that Minnesota played last night, but they had their backup in, so Gustafson's going to be going today. I think Minnesota's going to upset them.
It's a strong ask here, Dylan saying that he's got Dallas on that Dallas is minus 180 in his book on the money line. It's minus 200 for me. So straight up money line ain't the way there. We were talking about Minnesota with their game yesterday against the Kings. They were up 3-0 early. It was looking like it was all gas. LA looks a little broken. They have not been the LA team of the home record and all that shit from last year. I know it's only 2 games, right? Overreaction Tuesday. Give me a break here, but Kirill Kaprizov and Matt Boldy, man, dynamic fucking duo. 7 points through their first 3 games. The Wild still have Matt Zuccarello out, but it hasn't really slowed it down too much here. What do you like about the low total here at 5.5?
It's tough because both these offenses are very potent and they both can put up. I can see this being like a 5-4 kind of game, just because I don't think the goalies have really found their stride yet. There hasn't been too many. Yeah, exactly. It's early, and there hasn't been a lot of opportunity for them to get into a rhythm where it's just like, wow, this guy is just unbelievable. No one's been able to say that really about any. I think the average save percentage across the NHL in 3 games in is like an 842 or something. So it's a lot of goals happening. Now, when you look at these two teams head to head, it's, it kind of says a different story. The under is cashed 7 out of the last 10 times with a lot of 3-2 wins. So this line being set at 6, the under is cashed 4 times in a row, 2 in Dallas, 2 in Minnesota. You got 2 good goalies starting. If they decide to stop the puck for a chance, then, I'm leaning on the under here, and I like Minnesota. If you don't want to take them straight out at plus 155, because it might be a stretch, you're getting still pretty good money at minus 155 at plus 1.5. So why would you take Dallas money line at minus 190 when you can maybe get a 1-goal game at minus 155? Maybe you get to overtime. You get to overtime, you make the money. You win, you make the money. So you got 2 out of 3 chances that you're going to hit. So I do like Minnesota plus 1.5.
All right, that's 4 games broken down. We're heading to best bets. All right, Les, best bet for this Tuesday.
I got 2. I'm trying to decide on which one I want to play, but I think I got to stick with my heart here, and I have to take the under 6.5 in the Nashville-Toronto game. I just don't trust the offense of Toronto to go run up the score. Could empty netters get us in trouble here? Of course. Anytime you take an under in a game, that's a possibility, but the under has cashed 7 out of the last 10 times. Caden Primo is still a good goalie, and he can post up good numbers on any given day. So I gotta stick to the stats here and roll with the under. Toronto did play yesterday, so they might be a little fatigued. Maybe they're not going to put up 40 shots again today. It's unlikely, considering they've only put up 32 shots once in the last 10 games dating back to last season. So it was a little bit of an anomaly that they got 40 yesterday. So I don't really see that happening. I could see this being a 3-1 kind of game for the Leafs. So we're going to roll with the under 6.5.
All right. There is our best bet for the show. Before we let the guys go, let's put a little parlay together. What do you say there?
Little D-Gen?
Little D-Gen 4-legger, right? Well, it's not crazy. Before we get into it, I just want to just take a quick minute to scroll back up. After all the shit that was talked last episode by this guy.
Yeah.
Good on you, Alex, coming through, giving the props where they belong. I ain't mad at you, brother.
It's funny because I was talking shit about you, and
yeah, you were right off the hop, first game of the season.
Whoever who was Jesper Bratt or something?
Yeah, this Jesper Bratt guy,
low life in New Jersey. But nonetheless, I can admit defeat. I went 1 out of 2. You went 2 for 2. That one's on me, guys. It's going to happen from time to time, but it's not happening tonight because I almost want to beat my 2 picks and see you lose one just so that I know that I beat you. Or we could play on the same team and just try to hit all 4 so that everybody cashes.
Why not, right? It's not about us. It's about these guys.
No I in team. Let's do it.
So since I'm hot, I'll start. I'm taking Matty Nyes of the Toronto Maple Leafs. I'm taking him on the shot total. I'm taking over 1.5 SOGs. Matty's got 8 shots on goal in the 3 games that he's played. He's got 3. He's got 3. He's got 2. He's definitely, an engine for this Leafs team. He's never shy to put the puck on net. So first winning prop of this 4-leg parlay. Matty Nyes over 1.5 shots on goal.
Okay. With that being said, then I'm going to have to pivot because I was going to stick in Toronto too, but I'm not going to. A lot of you probably can't do same game parlay, so I'm not going to force your hand there. With that being said, though, I'm going to have to go to my old faithful, the Montreal Canadiens, and throw Nick Suzuki anytime point. He's had 5 points in the last 2 games for him. And, this is a guy that's probably going to put up 85 to 95 points this season. So
that's Suzuki over 0.5 point, right?
Yeah.
All right. You threw me off. I was going to go heavy on Toronto, but you're right about the same game. That didn't walk into my brain here. Give me one quick sec. Where are we looking at here? All right. We're getting out of the games that we discussed, right? We're going somewhere else here. We were talking about this guy the other night. I think we might have touched on it. Did we do Vegas's game on episode 1? Or was that just you talking shit with me? But I'm taking Pavel Dorofeyev.
Oh.
Over 2.5 shots on goal.
Oh, the shots. Really?
Shots.
I mean, he has had 12 shots or something in the first 3 games. So,
dude, kid kind of came out of nowhere from last year. I mean, at least it was off my radar. And all that dude does is shoot. Loves that PP1. Sits over on the off wing and just fires.
You're really good at ruining my second one because I was going to take another Vegas prop, but that's fine. I'll go to plan B. Plan B, we're going to just roll with the Carolina Hurricanes to walk all over the San Jose Sharks.
So
minus
Canes,
290.
So the Canes minus 2.5?
Not even. Almost minus 300.
No, I meant.
Yeah. I just really want to make sure my 2 bets hit tonight, so we're fucking we're gonna pay the juice on it. But hey, when you string together a 4-legger, you can afford to pay it.
Absolutely. All right. So to recap, we got Matty Nyes of the Toronto Maple Leafs over 1.5 shots on goal. Did I get all those? I'll get this up on the screen for you guys. So we got Matty Nyes over 1.5 shots on goal. We got the captain of the Canadiens, Nick Suzuki, over 0.5 point. We got Pavel Dorofeyev of Vegas over 2.5 shots on goal. And the Canes to put a whooping on San Jose in the late game tonight. All right, guys. Early Puck U in the books. Thank you for joining us. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Hope everybody cashes tonight. Any closing words for him?
So Early Bird Elite is ending this week. I don't know what day yet, but we got to wrap it up because we are now in week official 2 of the NHL. So we're going to wrap that up. So if you're still wondering if it's the best way to go, last year we did up north of 125 units in the season. You can get that whole season in the Elite channel. On the Telegram, for $4.99 gets you all the NHL, all the 100 stars. Otherwise, you have to pay for the 100-star monsters, which are $100 each. So it makes no sense why you wouldn't get the Elite if you're thinking about doing it. Might as well get every bet, every parlay, every underdog, every long shot. Rather than that, I'm gonna leave up the Thanksgiving promo for $149 to try the 1-month Elite. For just $149, I'm going to leave that up for today, but then that's going to disappear too. So if you just want to try it, get your feet wet, see if you like it, you can reach out to me anytime on Instagram. That $149 includes all the best bets as well.
All right, guys. Link for the $149 can be found in the description. Also, a link to Les's Telegram. Free picks every single day. If you guys aren't tailing, then go fuck yourselves. This has been Puck you. I'm Burns. He's Victory. We'll catch you back over here tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're going to go live at 2 p.m. And then we'll be back on Friday to close out the week here. All right, guys. As always, remember, play with your heads, never above them. We'll catch you tomorrow. Peace.
Cut my life into